The history of England is a story most everyone thinks they know. There are many stories that have become common knowledge throughout the years. These are the forgotten stories that have shaped the England we live in today. We're going back to prehistoric times to find out how civilization first began on the island of Britain. One of the earliest known settlements dates back to around 8000 BC with the arrival of Mesolithic people who were hunter-gatherers. During the Neolithic period, starting around 4000 BC, these people began to farm and raise livestock, leading to more permanent settlements. It served as a burial ground and possibly a place of healing and a social hub for the surrounding communities. During the Bronze Age, starting around 2200 BC, metalworking was introduced. The beaker culture emerged, known for its distinctive pottery, and hill forts became prominent, suggesting a more militarized society. Some believe that during this time, England had its first kings. They brought with them a rich mythology and religious practices that would influence England's folklore for centuries. Hill forts continued to be built, and the art of metalwork flourished, and so England's rich and layered prehistory came to an end with the arrival of the Romans. But while this is generally seen as a new beginning for England, it's important to remember that those earlier civilizations didn't just disappear. When the Romans invaded Britain in the year 43 AD under the rule of Emperor Claudius, they encountered a population of Celtic Britons, establishing cities like Londinium, the precursor to London, and Camulodunum, near Colchester. The Roman presence brought significant changes to Britain. Roman roads were constructed, adopting Roman urban planning and architecture. The influx of Roman culture also led to the spread of Christianity. Britain was subject to attacks from various Germanic tribes, necessitating the construction of defensive structures along the coast. Furthermore, the Roman withdrawal from Britain in the 4th century AD left the island vulnerable to new invaders. The Anglo-Saxons began arriving in the 5th century. The construction of towns and cities created centers of trade and commerce, and the adoption of Roman law and administration laid the groundwork for a centralized legal system, benefiting from the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultural influences. The Roman occupation of Britain, despite its challenges, brought about profound changes that would shape the course of English history. From infrastructure to culture, the legacy of Rome continued to resonate even after their departure. A new group of people were setting their sights on England. The Anglo-Saxons were a collection of tribes from what is today Denmark and northern Germany. They began arriving in England in the mid-5th century, including pressure from other Germanic tribes and a desire for new lands to settle. Over time, they established 7 kingdoms: Northumbria, East Anglia, Essex, Sussex, Kent, Wessex, and Mercia, each with its own distinct identity, which blended with the existing Celtic and Roman influences to create a unique cultural tapestry. Their military prowess and seafaring skills enabled them to raid and trade along the coasts of Europe, establishing networks that connected England to wider European markets. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, a historical record compiled during the 9th century, including the Vikings, who conducted widespread raids and settled in some coastal areas, ultimately defeating the Viking invaders at the Battle of Ashdown in 878. This victory marked a turning point, King of Wessex, from 871 to 899. Alfred implemented significant reforms in governance, education, and defense, laying the groundwork for a stronger, more unified England. The Anglo-Saxon settlement of Britain and the establishment of the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms marked a pivotal moment in English history. Their arrival brought new cultural influences, political structures, and a distinct Germanic identity to the island. As they navigated the challenges of their new homeland, the Anglo-Saxons ultimately shaped the course of English history. Now it's time to turn our attention to one of the most iconic periods in English history, the medieval era. This was a pivotal moment that profoundly reshaped the course of English history. The Battle of Hastings saw William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, bringing with it significant changes in land ownership, language, and culture. The introduction of French as the language of the elite and the implementation of the feudal system had far-reaching consequences for English society. Moreover, the construction of castles and the expansion of towns and cities transformed the English landscape, whose reign saw the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215. During the reign of Henry II, the common law system began to take shape, laying the foundation for an independent English judiciary. Religious orders like the Benedictines and the Franciscans played vital roles in education, healthcare, and social welfare, contributing to the intellectual and cultural life of medieval England. Such as the Hundred Years' War with France, medieval England, with its blend of external influences and internal developments, offers a fascinating glimpse into a pivotal chapter in English history, leaving an enduring legacy on the nation's identity and institutions. As we delve deeper into English history, his reign marked a significant shift in power dynamics within the Church. Henry's desire to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon led him to break away from the Roman Catholic Church and establish the Church of England with himself as its head. This act had far-reaching consequences, not only for England's religious landscape. The dissolution of monasteries that followed resulted in the redistribution of church lands and wealth under the rule of Mary Bourse, who ascended to the throne in 1553, reversed this trend upon her accession in 1558. Elizabeth's reign is often regarded as the golden age of England, seeking to end religious persecution and promote a more moderate form of Christianity. During her reign, England experienced significant cultural and economic growth. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 established England's naval supremacy and marked a turning point in European power dynamics. Figures like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh became renowned explorers and adventurers. The period also witnessed the beginnings of England's colonial ventures in North America with the establishment of the Roanoke colony in 1585. The Tudor era in England was a time of profound religious, political, and cultural change. The period saw England's identity and power on the world stage transformed. The defeat of the Spanish Armada and the early colonial ventures marked significant milestones. Now let's talk about the Stuart dynasty. However, the Stuart kings faced a series of challenges that would test their authority and shape the course of English history. This conflict resulted in the execution of Charles I in 1649 and the establishment of the Commonwealth of England. Following the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, King Charles II ascended to the throne, which further limited the power of the monarchy and established the supremacy of Parliament. This event had a profound impact on the balance of power in England, solidifying the principles of limited government and representative democracy. The Stuarts, despite facing periods of instability and challenges to their authority, left a lasting legacy on English history. The English Bill of Rights represented a landmark achievement in the evolution of democratic principles, an event that had profound implications for the future of England. It all started when King James II, a Catholic monarch, ascended to the throne, sparking fears of a return to Catholic absolutism. What followed was a bloodless coup as James II fled to France and William and Mary were declared joint monarchs. This revolution established the principle of parliamentary sovereignty, solidifying England's path towards constitutional monarchy and representative government. It also led to the drafting of the English Bill of Rights in 1689, which further curtailed the powers of the monarch and affirmed the rights of Parliament. A pivotal moment in English history, ensuring that England would never again be ruled by an absolute monarch and that the principles of limited government and individual liberty would be enshrined in its political system. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour through the untold stories of England's past. From prehistoric settlements to the establishment of constitutional monarchy, join me next time as we continue our journey through history and discover more untold stories that bring the past to life.